Hi, I'm Fletcher Camino.
And I'm Flynn Camino.
Welcome to Bums Away. Today on Bums Away, we're going to be reviewing a movie called Baahubali: The Beginning. It's a Telugu piece of cinema from the Telugu region in India, and it's directed by S.S. Rajamouli, who is one of our new favourite directors. We recently reviewed his most recent work, RRR. If you want the link to that review, just click up there. And we absolutely love that movie, so we decided, well, let's quickly look into his other movies. And also, this movie has just been, like, in the comments below the RRR review, people have just been saying, watch Baahubali, watch Baahubali, watch Baahubali, and they've been recommending it all the time. So here it is, the review for Baahubali: The Beginning. Yes, and let's take it away.
So let's start with the positives for this film. You know, easy stuff first. Obviously it's directed by S.S. Rajamouli, so that's a big positive. But also, its epic action and its just general breathtaking visual style is huge. I think it also has a hero's journey.
Yeah.
That really, maybe RRR lacks a bit.
Yeah.
Because
RRR is more of a buddy movie between two heroes.
Yeah, they're both already heroes. Like this one, you know, the main guy is already, he's like, you know, he's finding his way. Whereas RRR is more of a buddy movie. Sort of like Planes, Trains and Automobiles, but without Steve Martin.
Or John Cain.
So, not
like
Planes,
Trains and Automobiles at all.
I now think I shouldn't have said that, really.
This is all the trademarks of an S.S. Rajamouli movie. It's got incredible casting. I think we should talk about the casting for a second, because I think the cast just did an amazing job. It was a bit confusing because the main guy, Pravas, he did two roles. He was playing himself and his father in the flashback sequences, and that is my main negative with the movie. It's just when they cut between them, I was incredibly confused.
Like, what's going on, man?
They look exactly the same. There's not even, like, they don't even have a different type of mustache or anything, you know, they don't even try, so that was a bit confusing, but he just does an amazing job. He really does, as Flynn said, of doing the hero's journey.
He has a real presence, you know.
Yes.
He has a hero's presence, and like in the earlier films, he has like a presence that he knows what he's doing, and in the earlier films, where he still knows what he's doing, but on a smaller scale. He can approach both characters.
But as you said, it's a hero's journey, and I really think, you know, that's a great thing, because it's difficult in Hollywood nowadays. To sort of find movies that are very traditional in terms of their storytelling.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think that S.S. Rajamouli movies are very unique in the way that you can see that they go back right to the basics.
But they find out, like, really original themes, like a hero's journey, power struggles against evil, and, you know, finding love, and, you know, all of that.
I think it was a very intellectual movie as well. Like, I think RRR was just a lot of action, like a ton of action, and it had a lot of plot fit into those 3 hours, but this one takes it to a whole other level. It's very...
more character dependent.
You really have to understand all the plot threads and everything. It really makes you work for it, and in a way, and I love that. When I'm watching a movie, I want a plot that keeps me invested, and I'm working out what's going on as it goes, and, you know, it keeps bringing up new, fresh things.
It's true. It was in the flashbacks, like, Brabus is the only one who's doing two roles. All the other actors are also doing younger versions of themselves. Yeah. And pulling it off quite well, might I add. But also, you know, they're acting lots of different story threads, and it feels like you're immersed in the story by the end. Yeah. Although I have to say, I don't think it has a better mix of themes and genres as RRR. Like, it goes into sort of like a hero's journey, then sort of like a romance and action, and
it's a lot less. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's a lot less grounded than RRR. I mean, RRR didn't. This has sort of real fantasy themes. It really goes the whole way when talking about it. It's a fantasy story and a historical story. It's pure legend. Whereas RRR doesn't have any fantasy. It has ridiculous stuff that could possibly happen in real life, but it's not necessarily fantasy, and it's set in an historical period.
But the thing is, is that I think one of the negatives is that the romance part of the story sort of just slows down everything.
Yeah.
And that is necessary in the first part to have the second part seem bigger.
Well, obviously, you need to, the romance is there to slow things down, but it really does halt the plot for a long time. That's but it takes up a lot of the plot. Personally, I think this movie was. I don't think it was as good as Triple R. I think you'll agree with me here. I just think it was much slower paced, and the big action sequences that happened like at definite beats in Triple R, just at certain periodical times.
But not big scale things. It's like, he saves a kid and he fights a tiger. Relatively.
But they were spaced out really well across the movie, but they were definitely more frequent than in this movie, which is. I mean, it's understandable because it's two movies which are very, very complex. The two movies are tied together with a really complex plots and subplots.
Exactly, but the thing
and so this first movie had to really work to settle all of it up, and so it didn't really have time for action sequences, and that's the downside in having a more complex plot.
But the thing is that with the action sequences, it starts off with him climbing a cliff, which is sort of that. But
that was incredible.
And then
that was awesome. I love the visual effects of that.
But there's nothing for a long time until. Basically the end, when it has the big flashback.
And the end, we've got to talk about that, 'cause that is a massive positive. It has got an epic SS Rajamouli battle sequence at the end.
It is
unparalleled in his other movies. That is absolutely awesome, and I think that's what I've been wanting to see in Triple R. I wanted to see a full scale SS Rajamouli action sequence.
I'm sure we'll be seeing that in the next movie in the Triple R series, which is going to be...
Yes, I hope that there's he said that there's going to be a sequel. I really hope that it comes out soon.
It's funny, because when Triple R was released, they were saying, they weren't thinking of doing a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, surely you were.
Like, come on, it's sort of like Rise or Revolt, and they're just rising at the end, where's the revolting? It's got to come next.
Well, that's just the rise. Imagine what the revolt would be.
They got me stumped on what the title would be. Triple R 2... I'm not going to even try to work out what those are with me, but I'm just saying that the action sequence at the end, the big battle sequence that was in the flashback sequence, so not in the present day, but it was a full. I mean, this is the thing about SS Rajamouli. In other films, the flashbacks are sort of like in Hollywood films. They're very short, just to give us glimpses. In SS Rajamouli films, they literally take up a massive chunk of the movie.
It's the
flashbacks in Triple R took the flashback in Triple R took up like a whole massive portion of the movie.
Like half an hour, 20 minutes.
And the second Baahubali, which we'll be doing a review right after this, but the second Baahubali is like almost it's only the flashbacks only end at the end. Like almost the entire movie is a flashback. That's SS Rajamouli is just like, okay, he's like, we really need to explain this, so I'm going to do a full flashback. You have to
call it a flash forward when they get out of it, really. Instead of actually calling the flashback a flashback. But it's really, like, that really gives it a lot of historical, like, depth. You feel like this is a story. This, the characters have experienced these events, and now this is them in the present. And it gives you so much.
Oh, yeah. And the ending... The actual ending is such a cliffhanger, and we were just like, well, okay, we've just finished this, and it's just like, it was quite late in the night, and we're just like, we've got to watch the next one. Yeah, we're going to watch 3 hours? Whatever, we're just going to watch it. Because it just left us on such a cliffhanger.
The one negative I'd give, well, there's a few, I guess, but I think the villain is a bit 2D. Like, this is a common trend with SS Rajamouli films. The villains aren't really fleshed out very much. No. You don't see their motives, but he is a good villain. But I guess it's
he's cool, but you're right. The villain has a reasonable motive, I think. He's jealous of his brother, and so therefore he's jealous of his brother's son, who is the main character in the present day.
I don't get the jealous of your brother thing.
Well, his brother got to be king and he didn't.
Yeah, well, if I got to be king, you wouldn't mind, would you?
Yeah, but I agree that the actual, what they were calling, who they were calling the villain was just basically just like Arnold Schwarzenegger type of mountain of muscles is just, physically powerful. But I thought that
a lot of anger.
The uncle was the real villain for me. Like, he was the real one sort of manipulating behind the scenes. It really felt like he was the real one who was even manipulating who they were calling the actual villain. And I think there's a lot of anti-heroes. It's like to really There's a lot of characters, and they each have their own movement.
You see the whole, spectrum.
Yes.
You see the uncle manipulating, and then the evil, like the Darth Vader, and then you have.
What I'm saying is Palpatine and Darth Vader.
Yeah, but then you have Priebus, and he's obviously just the
Action
unexplainably, amazingly perfect, and then everything in between. And I think like Katapa, he's really loyal, and that's amazing. You wouldn't see that in Western films. You just loyalty turns like that, and just joins whoever's on their side.
But going back to the action sequences, I really thought that when they were there, which I was a bit disappointed at that there weren't that many there. I think it ramped up towards the end, and that's why I wanted to watch the next one, because it just got so cool towards the end. But earlier on, just trying to set up all the subplots at once, which is, I don't think, a very good idea. But the action sequences were awesome. I had a problem with that little CGI thing in the corner.
Yeah,
on the Netflix version, anyway, whenever there was an animal being killed or pounded, they had this little thing in the corner called CGI. It was
like CGI in the corner.
It was hilarious, like the little thing. Just so you know, this is CGI. But but then at the end of the movie, they had this thing where a bull was killed as a sacrifice. And that didn't have CGI in the corner.
So, But the thing is, because it's 2015 in India.
Yeah, and it's India. The CGI isn't fantastic.
They don't have Lucas,
to say the least.
They don't have Lucasfilms, Industrial Light and Magic. They just have,
But this is the thing. I think SS Rajamouli films, the part of the thing with that is that even though the CGI isn't great, you don't really care.
Exactly.
It's just like, it's so
escapism.
Cool. Yeah, it's escapism, exactly. And I think we've got to do a whole video on escapist movies, because they're really dying out, and that's why we love SS Rajamouli, because it has weight, but it has a ton of escapism, and that's why you don't really care if the CGI is not top-notch,
Yeah.
If it was top-notch, then those movies would be pretty much perfect, really.
Yes, but
that might take away from the fantastical nature of it, though.
True, yeah, but it has really clever things, if you see DC action films, everything is so obvious. They're gonna punch that guy, okay, they're gonna punch him, they saw that coming. But in this, when he gets the catapults, and he catapults the blankets with the rocks, and he covers them,
it's genius in action. I think SS Rajamouli is a true master of making clever action.
And the bowlers getting the feet from under the villagers and then hacking at the Kalkeas. It's really well thought out action, which reminds me of a
well choreographed.
Like a John Flanagan book.
There's a whole video that I watched. I can't remember the name. I think it was a Studio Binder video, actually. We'll try to link to it. But it was a video about SS Rajamouli action, and it said something that I wasn't quite aware of.
Triple R.
Exactly, and it focuses on Triple R, but I think it made a really good point in terms of choreography. And there's so many movies these days that are just super fast editing. You can't tell what's going on. It's just a blur. It's just cheating. Whereas SS Rajamouli, it doesn't cheat you. It pulls back to wide shots when it needs to, and holds there for long enough so that you can see clearly what's going on.
Not enough filmmakers know that going to a wide shot, it isn't like a drama scene. When you go to a wide shot, it draws you in action, not draws you out. You see more, you're enthralled. And it's not really long shots, it cuts plenty, and it's very fast paced. So it's really the perfect action filming.
It is.
It really works very well in that respect.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, look, I just thought this movie, I wouldn't say it was as good as Triple R, but towards the end it really began ramping up to that classic SS Rajamouli sort of thing. And part 2 is really just outstanding, and that review is going to be up very, very soon. So, for now, please like, subscribe, and hit that little bell button. Boing! So you can get notifications when we put a new video up, which is going to be very, very frequently we're going to be doing it. And notice that we're in a new studio. This is our new studio now, and yes, it's new, and so from now on we'll be doing our videos here, and we've got a permanent setup, which means that we can turn the camera on at any time and just film these reviews. So we're going to be doing a lot of reviews. There's a lot of new content coming out, so please like and subscribe and
also,
all that great stuff.
Also leave a comment. I've realized, especially with Triple R, lots of recommendations.
Thank you.
Maybe
a bit too much with the Baahubali stuff, but thank you for recommending tons of great movies.
A few people gave lists.
Yeah, it was funny going a list of 20 movies, and we're just okay, alright, yeah, we'll
a list of
get
5.
back to you in a year.
But really, thanks for doing that. Maybe please
expand
lots of movies, all of that, and
we're aware that there's a lot of great new Tollywood movies and Bollywood movies, just Indian movies, and we want to watch as many of them as we can. Please let us know what the best ones are, and that's all we've got to say, really. So, once again, we're Fletcher and Flink Camino from Bombs Away.